Welcome to today's lesson, or should I say today's game. Today's learning target is I can play Battleship. Let's go over the directions in case you've never played Battleship before. It's pretty easy once you get going. Battleship is a two-player game, and the object of the game is to sink all of your opponent's battleships. And the reason this is hard is because you can't see your opponent's battleships. You have to guess at their location. And the way you guess is by using a coordinate grid. And you're going to play online today with game boards that look kind of like this. Now, each player on each turn gets to take an action. Okay? So every single turn, whether it's player one's turn or player's two turn to attack, everybody takes an action. So I'm player one right now, and this is my game board right here. And you can see these are my battleships. Each dot is going to be one of the hits that is necessary to sink the ship. So this ship takes 3 hits to sink. This ship takes 5 hits to sink. This ship takes 2 hits to sink, and on and on. My other part of the game board is here. This is where I track the guesses I've made at my opponent's battleships, the misses and the hits. And this is the most important board. This board helps me figure out how to win. Okay? And then player 2 has their own board where they've set up their own ships. There's 5 for each player, and where they track the hits and the misses that they've guessed for player 1. So let's go back to player 1 for a second. Here's how you play. Player 1 begins by calling out a ordered pair, a location on the coordinate grid, and the quadrant. So they say something like, I attack your ship at 3, 2 in quadrant 1. And so player 2 has to look at their ships and look to see if they can find 3, 2. Let's see, 3, 2 is right there in quadrant 1. That's a miss. There's no ship there. There's nothing there. So they say miss, and player 1 keeps track of that on this board. They go to 3, 2. And to put a point there, you click on this A button with a point. That's the point button. You click on it, and then you put a point right there by clicking on it. Ta-da! A white dot means miss. I've missed a ship, but I know I've guessed that spot, so I never have to guess it again. Now it goes back to player 2's turn. Player 2 says, let's see, I'm going to guess your ship is at -3, -2, right there. So they call out -3, -2 in quadrant 3. And player 1 has to look to see if there's, let's see, -3, -2. Nope, that's a miss as well. So they say miss. And then player 2 has to track that by clicking on their own button, go to -3, -2, and click on it to add their own white miss point. And then we just keep going back and forth. Player 1 would go next. Player 1 would go next, and they'd guess again. They'd say, okay, is your ship at, let's see, how about 2, 4 in quadrant 1? And player 2 would look at 2, 4. Ooh, that was close. Another miss. So player 1 would track that with a dot. Click on the dot button and click on 2, 4, and that's another miss. And your job is to sink all of your opponent's battleships. So you keep track of your guesses here. If your opponent does hit you, you have to track that on this board. So let's say your opponent guessed 0, 2. What you do then is you click on that button where it is, 0, 2. Do you see how it highlights now, a little bit of white highlight? Then you go up here to this button, if it's a hit, and you go over here to this space here, and it doesn't look like much, but you click on it and it brings up colors. And you click on red for a hit, and you know that you've been hit right there. And when all 5 of these spots turn red, your ship is sunk, and you call out, "You've sunk my ship!" And that's how your opponent knows they've sunk your ship. And on the other end, player 2 would see this. They'd see that they had sunk their ship because they guessed correctly the right location of all the dots on that ship. And it would look something like this. Oh, they're automatically red. And they'd say, oh, that's 5 in a row. That's got to be your battleship. I sunk it. And that's how you play. Back and forth you go. If neither person in your partnership has played this before and you need my help, I can help you. If someone has helped play Battleship before and knows what to do, then try to rely on them for help as much as you can, because I'll be busy helping those groups who don't have anybody who's played this before. It's a fun way to practice using the coordinate grid and play a game at the same time. So let's have some fun. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, let's do it.